Oh my gosh, is that Lex? It's Astrostetics. Let's get it. So y'all, in our last video, we were speaking about Jupiter in the 9th house. Now in this time, we gonna move on over, and now we in that 10th house. And as you can beautifully see in this lovely Astrostetics diagram, the 10th house is ruled by Saturn, the planet Saturn, the 10th house, dealing with business, seriousness, manifestation. And in Astrostetics, the 10th house, it also deals with solidification, right? So the 10th house in the astrological sense it's a representation of the top of the chart. But we know in Astrostetics, the midheaven, right, is the midheaven. It's but it is the top of the chart in the astrological sense, because this is what represents you in the public. All right, so let's continue. It's Astrostetics. Oh my gosh, that's Lex. It's Astrostetics. Let's get it. If you're watching this video, I hope you're feeling great. So y'all, the 10th house being governed by Saturn, it deals with the public, right? The public representation. Now we know in Astrostetics, the 1st house and the 10th house, they're kind of equal importance in Astrostetics, all right? Other astrologers maybe or will tell you different, but in Astrostetics, right, the 10th house and the 1st house are very important, just about the same. Now with the 10th house, this is what represents you in the public, what defines you. So this is why the 10th house is can also be status, your public persona. And this is why the 10th house can also deal with your career. And, you know, this is why the 10th house is also marriages. And this is also an aspect of Saturn as well as Astrostetics. Oh my gosh, is that Lex? I know it's Astrostetics. Let's get it, baby. So, y'all, let's continue. So, y'all, the 10th house being governed by Saturn, we know that this also deals with public perception. So when we're talking about status, this is in Astrostetics, this is an indication of how the public is receptive to you. So remember that Capricorn, right, the 10th house is typically a feminine sign. And this is interesting because Saturn is typically seen as a stern energy. But when you look at it, Capricorn is actually a feminine sign. Now, this is interesting because Saturn, right, it moves very slow. And this is why the 10th house, it deals with long-lasting, long-term things. It's Astrostetics. Let's get it. As y'all can see, once again, it deals with the serious approach to business. Now, we know that Saturn, of all the visible planets, right, it moves the absolute slowest. And because it is the 10th house, it can also deal with long-term, long-lasting things, right? Things that take a while. Now, typically, people may say that Capricorn is a feminine sign, but in this case, I don't really, you know, in Astrostetics, we don't really get into like some of the masculine, feminine aspects. But in something like Saturn, right, and with Capricorn, this is purpose, long-term solidification and purpose and stability. So it's very defensive because it also can deal with withstanding things long-term.